I will start first about introducing myself. My name is Mohammed El Seri. I'm founder and CEO of Mentors Group. Before, I was working on different companies, different organizations, either as an employee or as an advisor, till we founded our Mentors Group. So I was working as an advisor for ADU. I'm currently working in the International Chamber of Commerce as an advisor. I worked before as a global head of supply chain for VEON, which is fifth largest telecom operator in the world. Currently, I'm giving an advisory in supply chain for Hyper Optics, the third broadband company in UK. I'm the founder of Mentors. I worked in Huawei, leading MENA region in supply chain and procurement. I worked in Ericsson in program management in different countries. I'm the founder of Anestadil, and I work now as an advisor also for Doctors Without Borders in digital transformation of supply chain. Raised 45 million was in Africa. I see here that Amir is sharing already the presentation, so we will go to the slide of the numbers, Amir. So this is what I am speaking about as numbers, just to feel how much in sectors in 2022. And if we go to the next slide, you will see here, for example, fintech accounts for 7 and every $10 million raised in Q1 2023 by African startups. And if you see the numbers, you will figure out that actually Africa is taking big share in this by time. And why we see that this is actually going, and especially fintech in the beginning and followed by other industries, because of the importance of the fintech and financial transactions in Africa for improving the trading and exchange, and for easing the financial transactions because of the limitations that we had. In December last year, I was attending African Startup Conference in Algeria. We were discussing about the challenges for startups all over Africa. And we said one important thing is the infrastructure. The second point was immediately about accommodating fintechs solutions for startups to make sure that the funding is coming and financial transactions are easy to move. So accordingly, can help the startups to grow. But actually, when we were discussing about the types of funding for startup, we will go to the next slide and we will see what are the types of the funding. And it's a small journey that we will enjoy to discuss about how we can make it work for us for fundraising. So if we go to next slide, Amir. Yeah. So the ways of funding, of course, it's starting by you as entrepreneur, as the founder of the company. You are the one who's giving his time and also his money, or some of his money as allocated to your startup. But you need just to make sure when you are starting that at least you can have the kickstarting fund to make sure that you are rolling your startup on the runway. But actually, when you are working on that, sometimes you need another added value or knowledge or even capacity, either timing or a profession. So you bring a co-founder. And when you bring a co-founder, You are discussing about the distribution of the shares, you are distributing the responsibilities, you are defining the targets and the KPIs for the company, everyone in his capacity, and this is the co-founder. But then after you roll on the way of your startup, you start to, hmm, we need to complete more our journey and we need some cash for that. So you start to go for friends and family. And this is where you are asking for some support. And by the way, Amazon founder, Jeff Bezos, he said that he made already his parents billionaires because they trusted him in the beginning and they give him the friends and family funds in the beginning of his journey. But after that, you go to incubators, accelerators, or angel investors to start to ask them for more support in terms of knowledge and in terms of fund, because some funding coming as in kind by knowledge, by training, by value added, by giving you facilities and so on, which is actually availing a lot to you to work and to succeed in your journey. So you are taking the journey with some cash support or in-kind support, which is important to gain knowledge of others to help you to build up your knowledge on managing your funds and getting the capacity that you need. Because you find some companies offering perks like facilities, like training tools, like technology infrastructure, like different ways of in-kind co-working spaces, um, financial solutions, credit lines, you name it. Different functions that can help you out to save time, to save money, to gain knowledge, and to know how to even manage your fund. Because it's not the challenge to get the fund in some companies, it's more of the challenge of how you are managing your fund in the right way. So you go from incubators, accelerators to raise after that the seed funding, which is after you start to generate some revenues. This is called seed funding. And then after that, you go for the series A, B, C, and so on. And then after that, you go for IPO and being the top CEO of the world while you are managing your company with knowing the structure of how you can get the fund and how you manage your fund. Do you all know these steps before, or any of you knew these steps before? I'd like to have this session more of engagement and feedbacks and interactive. Okay, now it's clear for all of you the phases and the steps. Thank you, Dr. Yuron. For sure, the material and everything of the training will be shared. Okay, so this is the first thing about funding. You know what are the steps, what is even the definition of the milestones, and you know how to define and differentiate between all of them. So we will go to the 10 factors in successful fundraising. It's actually the main factors that you can rely on to make your fundraising successfully. And we'll go to the first factor, strong organizational vision. Not every company has a strong vision defined from the beginning. Not every startup. But as Dr. Yuron said, branding is very important, and part of your branding is your vision. So you should have a strong vision from the beginning, because if you will go to the funding institution or venture capital, and they feel that you are hesitating or not 100% sure about your vision and mission of the company, this is will shake out the trust of the company or the funding institution to. So you need to be solid on your vision because it's part of your equity. It's part of your strength. So you need to make sure that you have your vision clear and it's touching everything that you are doing in your business. Going to factor number 2, credible, compelling, and knowledgeable leaders. In your organization, if you have the vision, you need some team members, especially the key players, especially even sometimes the co-founders starting from that perspective or the founding team, they have the knowledge relevant to their business. And if these leaders already part of the success and the organization that you are delivering your mission and vision, and they are part also of the background of the company presented to a venture capital, this is will add one more factor in the success to raise fund. So if you are getting somebody who's technologically having a background about the industry that you are working in, and he made multiple rounds or worked in multiple startups, and he made some success stories, and he had the knowledge of how it works, and he's part of your organization or leadership in the organization, this is will add a huge factor in your funding process. Same for your financial expert or CFO. If he is already coming from background of finance, especially in startups, this is will add a positive pluses into the funding of your organization because this is will show that you are having a strong base and strong foundation in your organization. So do you so far define carefully your vision and mission and have a strong knowledgeable leaders in your organization? Let's just take it as a checklist to all of you. It's like the prescription because we have only some raising hands. Tonica and Mundi, can you send your comments? Patricia, she said yes, sir. So you have it already, Patricia. Wonderful. So I see most of you, or at least all the answers that came so far. Okay, just everybody, just be careful because we will have questions all the time about did you or you did not follow this or did it in your organization or you need to take it into your account. Okay, let's go for factor number 3. Demonstratable features that mark your work as unique. Okay, so every fundraising is a storytelling action. You know this elevator pitch. This is the technique of how you are able to focus on the strong, unique selling proposition point of your company in a short span of time with clear statements that can help you out to speak on to gain the fundraising successfully or gain the attention of the investors to listen to you carefully. And this is here what we are saying, demonstratable features that mark your work as unique. What is your uniqueness as a startup? You need to factor this and you need to make it clear in a short but to the point statement to the investors to make sure that you are going to spot the point so they can make best of their decision or their judgment about you. You need to demonstrate it in the right way. You need even to practice how to demonstrate this. So we'll go to factor number 4, simple explanation of your overall funding structure that can be shared with the donors. Of course, if you are coming to speak to the funding institutions or donors or angel investors, you need to make sure sharing what is the need or the needed fund and what is it is needed for. So we need to make sure that you are speaking precisely about I will need $100,000. This is equal to 10% of the company because we need to make 40% out of that investment in technology, 30% in business development activities, 10% in administration, 20% on different infrastructures and facilities. So you need to make sure that you have a breakdown about what you need and what you need it for. So this is very, very important. That's why we are saying either you have your financial advisor, your CFO, or your financial team or fundraising team knowing exactly what they are speaking about and what they are needing these funds for. Of course, you shouldn't ask for a percentage more than 30 to 40% in the beginning for the first round of funding. Why? Because this is will show that you are jumping out of the boat. So any financial institution or investors will not trust you that you are looking to make it floating and sailing in the right direction because you are trying to jump out of the boat, which is shouldn't be the case. So you need to have these tips and these advices into your account while you are working on fundraising. Going to factor number 5, an inspiring articulation of the difference that will be achieved by the donation. So if I will get this fund and I will get this money, I will deliver 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is will add value to my clients, my customers, my community, my society, my people, to my organization, to influence the economy, and so on. So, for example, when we are saying, okay, what is the vision and the mission of the company? Like, for example, when we are saying, okay, Mentor's vision is to support the economy of the countries that we are in through supporting entrepreneurs, startups, and SMEs by learn, establish, and grow methodology. So this is what we are doing, and this is how we are doing it. So the point here that we are clear about what we are aiming for and how we would reach to it. The point here when I'm asking for funding, for example, to support African startups, I will say, okay, if I will get this amount, I will support 3 countries with 3,000 entrepreneurs and startups, which is will influence their pace by so and so in the economy. So accordingly, I need to articulate an inspiring deliverable which will be achieved by this donation. Is it clear for all of you how to articulate the inspiring story? So this is how we need to do our job in funding telling a story, and this appropriate story will help you out to make a difference when you are building your funding, when you are building your funding mission and make it successful, and you are feeling it from the heart, and you need to make sure that you are committed to what you are saying, because once you are starting this journey for fundraising, you are committed in front of your partners and your investors. So going to factor number 6, volunteer leaders at the highest level in your organization willing to give time. What does it mean? It means there are some influencers, some knowledgeable mark or landmark of people like, for example, Dr. Yurun, as an example, he got inspired by your story and by your organization. And he is every now and then giving you some of his time to mentor you, and you join his program as well. This is will be part of the journey of your success, that you said, okay, I joined SBDI program, or I joined Mentors for Africa program, and the CEO over there just supporting me and giving me mentoring every now and then. And I am getting this access, getting this inspiring support to make sure that they already bought the concept, they are supporting the concept because it's a valuable concept and it's part of the CV of the company. So if, for example, me willing to give you time, Dr. Yuron willing to give you time, Mr. X or Y or Z as an expert in this area of business or entrepreneurship or technology related to your startup, willing to give you time and to support your initiative or your startup. That means it's part of your valuable pieces to present in your presentation and in your story as well, because this is shows that other knowledgeable landmark people who have the knowledge already accepted your idea as an inspiring idea and a successful business model. Going to factor number 7, a clear fundraising strategy. How much will be invested in fundraising? So fundraising is not only about getting the money, it's about how you will invest this money. And by how is not only about the percentages that we discussed about the previous factors, but it's the way with the detailed financial plan, as Dr. Yuron mentioned here, good financial plan for the future expenses and how you are planning to multiply the benefits on your fund, and you are targeting to reduce the funding rounds to the minimum in case of any. Why? Because if the investors as well see that you are having a plan every 6 months to make another round, this is will not be good for you. But if they see that you are multiplying benefits out of the funding that you are getting from them during the journey, that means you are making your financial projections and plans successfully. And this is what you need to show in your strategy and in your financial plan. Because 85% of the startups as well who raised funds successfully convinced investors to raise funds, they failed because of their mismanagement for funding. And this is what we have as a unique approach in Mentors for Africa on the coming grounds on how successfully you manage your fund with multiplying the factor of valuing or valuation of your startup. So this is very important factor that you need to consider when you are making your fundraising strategy. Is it clear? And how many of you for this 7 factors so far considered or understanding and will consider to make his strategy of funding successful? Thank you, Dr. Yeroon. This is absolutely right. Thank you, Patricia. And thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Charles. Ikomi. Thank you very much. Thank you, Walter. And Mundinina. Thank you all for your feedback, and we'll go to factor number 8. Amir, let's go to factor number 8. Sound respect identification, research, profile development, and cultivated plan. So sound prospect identification, research, profile development, and a cultivated plan. This is an extension of the factor number 7, where here you not only about financial, you need to make a comprehensive plan ready for your fundraising. So when you are making the factors of fundraising with financial plan, you make also the plan of development of other functions, which is will be noticed when you are talking to the funding institution that you are fully ready. So sometimes people we face in rounds of fundraising, they are coming only making the financial model and that's it, but not the other functions relevant to that, which is very important to be taken into consideration on how you are making your plan comprehensive from different functions. So you shouldn't think only about financials, but you need to think about what is your proper plan when you take fund and what if you don't take fund. Because some venture capitals will ask you this specific question. So what is, do you have a backup plan in case I don't give you fund today? How you will manage your work? And if you are not ready for this question to answer, then this is will not give you appropriate success factor in fundraising, because they need to see how you are managing your business under the short financial supplies and how you are prepared to manage your business in the right way. So you should be all the time prepared with your plans. One, if you have the fund today, and if you will not get fund for some time, what is your backup plan? So you need just to make sure that you are ready and you have your backup plans in case. Factor number 9, professional and committed fundraising team with competence in fundraising. So if you are working on fundraising, you need to prepare your complete package of fundraising. You need to focus on your strength points. You need to focus on your plan. You need to focus on how you will invest this money, where, what is your main plan, what is your backup plan, who's your team leaders, What is your successful milestones in your business? Who from the business leaders already supporting your initiative? And. So you need to have either in-house or external team who can help you in making your fundraising strategy and actions, because you can be successful startup from perspective of achieving your KPIs and making your operational model running, but you are not able to pitch for funding. And this is give you a shortage in cash flow. However, your business model and your idea and all the other factors are very successful, but yet fundraising part is not successful. And this is where you need to work with the right resources, professional fundraising team to make sure that you can make it successful. If you yourself have this capabilities, then it's even better. Why? Because your your fundraising story, if you are a good storytelling like Steve Jobs, for example, you will be rocking on the stage, asking and replying every single question from the venture capital or the investors, because you know the details. And that's why you need to be prepared. You need to rehearse. You need to build the story. You need to train yourself. You can take professional service support, but it's the best pitching. It could happen from the founder of the idea or the co-founders who's really good in storytelling. So we'll go to factor and the last factor, number 10, the commitment from other departments. This is the most important factor in fundraising management. If I have my team, my partners, my founding members in this journey, committed, understanding, inspired by the vision of the company, and committed to execute the plan that was already gathered and built specifically for scenario A of fundraising or scenario B as a backup plan, then you have everything. Why? Because if your team not inspired enough, not ready for the journey, especially the founding team members, they are more inspired if they know the vision, more charged if they know the targets and the goals, they know the big picture, they know their rules, they know that there is already um, a motivation, pluses, a career path ready for them for growing, for making a change in themselves, change in the world, change on their contribution. I'm one of the luckiest people on earth in this regard, because all my team is really inspired by Mentors for Africa. All my colleagues or my co-founders inspired by Mentors for Africa. That's why we have this success. And this is my advice to you. Having your team committed, inspired, working with passion, building bridges to make business going and running. This is can make you grow beyond any limits. Some of the companies grown already without need of even one penny of fund because the founding team worked together, put their heads and hands together to make business grow without need for any fund. So having your committed team, committed leaders in your company will help you out to grow, to manage the pennies in your pocket or the funds, the minimum funds that you can gain into multiplying the company for the benefit of everyone. So this is basically the journey of the main 10 successful factors for fundraising. I wish that you can use this as a guidance for your funding plan, understanding what do you need, what are the main factors, how you can build your story for funding, and how you can get it done minimum you need to maximum you gain as a benefits for the company and the shareholders.